In Congress, July 4, 1776, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures.
This is the City Upon a Hill podcast, the conservative Christian podcast where we discuss how we, the people of the United States, can be a bright shining light to the individuals and the countries around us. I am Miguel Brown, and today I would like to wish all of my fellow Americans a very happy Independence Day. Today we celebrate our nation's 249th birthday. America has seen a lot over the past 2 centuries plus, but the God we are one nation under has been good and gracious. God put a spirit of patriotism into the hearts of 56 men back in 1776, and on July 4 of that same year, they signed their names to the Declaration of Independence. From famed signers such as John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, to the almost unheard of, like Button Gwinnett, Francis Lightfoot Lee, and even a William Williams, each and every single gentleman left his mark on these great United States, merely laying a foundation to build upon. These men all realized something that not too many politicians realize today. It is righteousness alone that exalts a nation. When these men signed their names to that piece of parchment, they realized the risks. In fact, many Americans were afraid to go against Great Britain in fear of defiling this biblical principle found in 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Many of these men paid a great cost for what they did. William Ellery's home was set ablaze by the British, leaving nothing behind, yet he counted the cost worth paying. Thomas Heyward Jr. was captured by the British at the siege of Charleston and was held in St. Augustine, Florida, as a prisoner. Not only did Francis Lewis have his home burnt to the ground, but he had his wife taken from him as a prisoner. But you know what? Freedom meant everything to them. They were willing to make those sacrifices for us, the Americans of the 21st century, and the Americans that will follow after us. We sometimes take our American freedoms for granted. But remember this, freedom is not free. Many of the founders suffered from financial, familial, and material blows. Caesar Rodney of Delaware made a pretty selfless sacrifice too. It was July 1st, 1776. Rodney was suffering from asthma and facial cancer, but he rode through the night on horseback through a terrible storm all the way to Philadelphia. He arrived the next day and cast a critical vote for independence. And so, from the sacrifice of our founders to the shed blood of our brave troops, we see a pattern of selfless devotion that ultimately made our great nation under God what it is. In November 1832, Charles Carroll of Carrollton, the last surviving signer of the Declaration of Independence, passed away. At that time, America was still undergoing changes, growing and developing. These men didn't live to see those sacred words, "All men are created equal," permanently embedded into our nation. Many of these men didn't get to see just how influential and great America would become. Yet, they signed that now incredibly famous piece of paper, blazing a path for the thousands upon thousands of Americans then and now to follow. It was just a collection of 56 autographs, but it forever changed the course of mankind. Those 56 autographs gave birth to a nation that would have the single greatest political influence that the world has ever known. And that concludes this episode of the City Upon a Hill podcast. I hope that you were encouraged and inspired. May God bless you, and may God bless America. And happy Independence Day.